The only true riches are those that make us rich in virtue. There, if you want to be rich, beloved, love true riches. Pope Gregory the Great. Pope Gregory I was born around 540 CE to a wealthy and powerful Roman landowner. Not only was he wealthy, but Gregory was a grandson and nephew of two previous popes of Rome. It's no surprise that Gregory I followed in their footsteps. Gregory didn't become pope overnight. As a child, he received a classical education where he studied law and rapidly became an influential city administrator. By the year 573, he held the position of prefect of Rome. Gregory accumulated vast wealth, which he invested into the church by funding the construction of monasteries in Sicily. Around 574, Gregory the Great decided to give up his worldly ways, including selling all of his possessions, and live the life of a monk at a monastery. Gregory reappears in history 6 years later, when he was called back into the world by Pope Gelasius II, who was in need of a gifted administrator and someone who was loyal to the church. Gregory gained wide approbation from the Romans for his administrative integrity and his ascetic life. When Pope Gelasius II died due to the bubonic plague that struck the region, Gregory, against his will, was declared pope in 590. The 14 years that Gregory served as pope were marked by extreme vigor and activity. A biographer writes, "He never rested. He was always engaged in providing for the interests of his people, or in writing some composition worthy of the church, or in searching out the secrets of heaven by the grace of contemplation." One of Gregory's first tasks was to regulate and control the election and discipline of bishops. Many bishops oftentimes acted independently of the pope as if they were supreme authorities. By implementing strict rules, Gregory helped to strengthen the Roman Catholic Church by reasserting papal primacy. Gregory the Great believed that Rome was by divine right the head of all the churches. He writes, "I know of no one who is not subject to apostolic see." The phrase apostolic see refers to himself, meaning that everyone, even bishops and patriarchs, were answerable to him. This movement consolidated religious authority with political authority. Because emperors in the classical eras had left power vacuums and the Lombard kings did not have the strength to seize, for the first time in history, the Pope appeared as a political authority. Gregory laid the foundation of a political influence which lasted for centuries. Gregory also made not changes, but shifts in the beliefs of the Roman Church. He placed a strong emphasis on the sacrament of penance and for the atonement of sins. Here, the whole idea of confession begins, which lasts even in today's Roman Catholic churches. Gregory helped to spread Christianity by his extensive organization of missionaries. One of the most important was a twofold mission to Britain led by St. Augustine of Canterbury in 596. Gregory's strenuous efforts to uproot paganism by the implementation of missionaries went all across the Mediterranean, even into parts of Africa. Gregory is viewed as the bridge over which the wisdom and culture of the past were passed on and preserved. In all of his writings, Gregory presented his teachings not in a speculative or theoretical manner, but in a human with the capacity for greatness or smallness, response or refusal. Some of Gregory's most famous writings include scriptural homilias, moralia, pastoral care, the 4 books of dialogues on the life and miracles of the Italian fathers and on the immorality of souls, letters, and history. Gregory is also credited with the recognition of Gregorian chants. As Pope, he had regulated worship by appointing songs and hymns. He insisted that music in the church provide only a background during Mass by assisting the faithful in their reverence to God, much like the Gregorian chant in this video is doing. By no means was the music supposed to draw attention to itself. Even today, chants during Mass are solely done by the priest. Gregory's actions over 1,500 years ago are still affecting the Catholic religion today. Thomas Bokenkotter says, Gregory set the papacy and the church on a path that was to make it the predominant force in shaping a new civilization out of the old, a new political, culture, and social unity called Europe.